everybody. It is Monday, June the 24th. I am back from vacation. I am drinking water. This is actually my second water today, along with a couple of other things that I've had to drink. I had a couple of LaCroix, I had some tea, and I've had some coffee today. So lots of fluids. I just made some pit stops. I found a Dairy Queen. I'm way out in the country right now. I'm actually done with my day. It's about 5:15, and I'm headed back into town, which will take me about half an hour. But I have had a good on-program day. I did a lot of meal prep yesterday. I also went to edit my footage for the collab today, and it was all corrupted apparently. So sometimes if I film on my old camera, and this happened last year a couple of times, if there's a Wi-Fi network, it will disrupt the audio from the video. So the audio is like completely off from the video, and it's very distracting and not watchable, and I'm not going to put that kind of video up on YouTube. So I went to do that last night, and it was completely jacked up, and I did not have time to refilm last night. I am hoping that my collab for July with my sister-in-laws is still okay. I haven't gone to put it into KindMaster and edit it yet, so I'm just going to cross my fingers that it's okay. Or if there is any corruption, it's just a couple parts, and maybe we can edit through it or something. So I had agreed to be part of a collab. We were going to talk about the 5 things that we don't eat on our Weight Watchers program. Just 5 things that we avoid. And I kind of wanted to extend that conversation and talk about things that I want to work on getting out of my diet. So I thought I would just come on and do a chatty car vlog with my content and open up this dialogue and then link all of my friends down below. I would really appreciate you checking out the other collaborators in this series. I think that there's some interesting ideas. I've watched a couple of videos today on my lunch break about what other people are staying away from and not eating during their weight loss adventure, as it were. So one of the things that I stay away from, and you guys will see on my channel, is refined bread, like white bread, white rice, that sort of thing. I think this is like an old school Weight Watcher thing that we don't really talk about in meetings anymore. But back when I did Weight Watchers years ago, we tried to stay away from things that were white, even like white potatoes, white rice, white bread. We went for more whole grains, and tried to, if you can have a sweet potato instead of a white potato, there was some research on that being better for you in terms of fiber and the filling food factor. And then obviously like the white bread, white rice, those things not being as nutrient dense or full of fiber. So I kind of still follow that if I'm going to go. I actually do still follow that if I'm going to go out to Chipotle and get the rice. I'll get a half portion of the brown rice, or if I go to Panda Express, I get the brown rice. I actually don't do too much of that and get the vegetables instead. But when I do have an option or the points and I want something like that, I go for brown. Just like I buy whole wheat pasta, whole wheat bread for my family. We just don't do a lot of the white at my house. So that's one thing. The other thing that I don't incorporate right now, and it's not because it's bad for you or it's just a personal preference. since doing freestyle, but something that I'm not eating a lot of right now is the non-fat Greek yogurt. I have been eating a lot of that and making a lot of recipes out of that previously. And I really tried to like it and enjoy it, but like the faye and all that. And I honestly found that I just don't like it. And a few months ago, I talked about on my channel trying to eat things that I like and incorporating, you know, not incorporating things because they're 0 points, but incorporating things that I enjoy so that I can do this long term. So I've nixed the 0% faye, and in fact, I've started eating some of the other Greek yogurts. I have one in my refrigerator right now that's actually a whole milk Greek yogurt. And yes, I can have significantly less of that, but I like the taste better. Since we're on the subject of dairy products, something that I want to eliminate and that you're going to see me actively doing, and this is more of a recent thing. Interesting, is fat-free dairy products in general. So I read an article recently about how a lot of times the fat is taken out of certain things and replaced with sugar and fillers and other things. And they were specifically referencing like fat-free cheese, fat-free dressings, that sort of thing. So I've been looking at the ingredients on the items I've been picking up lately, and if there is sugar or, you know, corn syrup or anything like that in the first 3 ingredients, even wheat, a lot of times I have been putting it back on the shelf. So I have decided to eliminate the fat-free cheese from my diet. It doesn't, you know, I like the fat-free, but I'm finding that I can replace it with just regular cheese, and though I'll have to use more points and less of it, it's just as satisfying, and then I don't feel like I'm putting just something so processed in my body. I've had some subscribers recently really give me sort of a hard time read me the riot about processed foods. And I have been doing a lot of thinking and reading and researching on this, and I found a study on processed foods, and they have linked processed foods now, and this is from May 2019, an article in the New York Times, and I'll try to link articles down below. They've linked processed foods to obesity, and the higher the processed food, the more significant the chance or risk of obesity. And, you know, I've been talking a lot about us as Americans and sort of why we're so obese in America. And this is a significant link. I think that in our country, we do tend to eat a lot more processed foods in relation to the rest of the world. You guys can obviously correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you will. But I've been looking at that, and one thing I noticed, if I incorporate a lot of the protein bars on a daily basis, if I eat protein bars, I do not lose, or I lose very insignificant amounts. Which leads me to the discussion of, I'm not coming at you guys saying you should do anything. This is all about Amy and my own stuff. They have those little, like, weird speed bumpy things. Oh, because the right lane is closed ahead. Finding a way of eating, a W-O-E, a way of eating that you just jive with on several different levels. And what I have found is that my body responds really well to a certain way of eating that I wish it responded to, I wish I could just eat junk and lose weight. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It'd be great, you know, if I could eat donuts every day. But my body does not respond well to that. And it doesn't respond well to processed foods. So the problem is I love like the Built bars and the Quest bars, and they're so easy and convenient for me. But what I'm trading off for that is very slow to nothing weight gain, and you know, this sugar addiction that I have because of the artificial sweeteners and such, being stoked, those fires being stoked by the artificial sweeteners in the protein bars. And so I found myself, I ordered another box of Built bars before I went on vacation. There were several days that I had 2 of those because I wanted something sweet after I ate. Not because I was in an emergent situation, and not because I was actually hungry, you guys, but because I wanted something sweet. So what I am finding about myself, and I've known this, but I don't want to have to do this, is that I really need to watch not just the processed foods, but the protein bars, the protein shakes, all of that. In fact, like even the Premier Protein, the 2-point chocolate, caramel, vanilla shakes, all those things, those are not satisfying to me, and in fact, they just make me want more sweet. So with that in mind, I'm going to start working on eliminating. This is so hard because I just don't know that I want to do this, but eliminating or at least reducing significantly the artificial sweeteners. And I got rid of Splenda and aspartame and all of those types of artificial sweeteners a while ago, and I really like the stevia and erythritol. Did I say that right? No. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I started liking that stuff. And of course, they say that those sweeteners, like the stevia, has 200 times the amount of sugar as a teaspoon of sugar. Like teaspoon for teaspoon. It's 200 times more. And your body actually can't tell the difference between an artificial sweetener and the real deal. So it preps you with insulin, and you start this whole chain reaction. So they did another study that I read about recently on artificial sweeteners, and that's all artificial sweeteners, not just certain ones. They did a 10-year study on 400,000 people, and what they found after 10 years is that people that ate artificial sweeteners were obese as compared to the ones that didn't. So, you all may remember this. If you're new to my channel, you may not, but I went quite a long stint, over a year and a half, of no Diet Coke. And when I moved here, I started letting Diet Coke slide back into my life. And my rationale was, oh, it's a treat, or oh, if I'm out to lunch or dinner, or oh, if I'm in the car all day and I need some caffeine, I'd rather have a Diet Coke than spend points on a coffee or something. And plus it's cheaper because you can get a Diet Coke at McDonald's. You can get a large Diet Coke for $1, which you all know, healthier food is more expensive. So I let that slide back into my life, and that's something that I'm now a week off of Diet Coke. I had my last one midweek last week, so I guess I'm not a week, almost a week off Diet Coke. I had some on vacation. We went out a couple days and got Diet Cokes on the beach. Or I got a Diet Coke and my husband got a Coke. So that's not something that I want to get back into and get addicted to again. There was a point in my life where I was drinking like a 2-liter of that stuff every day. So we're nipping that in the bud, and we're not drinking any more Diet Coke. I even told my husband, I said, this is the last one I'm going to have. And knows? It was really hard for me to get off of it in the first time. I kind of feel like Diet Coke is like smoking, honestly, you guys. So, right. So the artificial sweeteners, the Diet Coke, white bread, the fat-free stuff, you know, those are all things that I either am not currently eating or want to eliminate from my diet. And when I say diet, I'm not talking diet like the cabbage soup diet. I'm talking about my way of eating. And then probably the last big thing that I wanted to talk about is sugar. I have a real issue with sugar. And if I eat sugar, I am not satisfied. So it is the strangest thing ever. But maybe you guys can identify, but if I eat something really sweet, like for example, last week, my father-in-law brought home the most delicious key lime pie known to mankind. Brought it back to the vacation house. And, you know, I had a piece of it, and I literally was fantasizing about it. You know, wishing I could have more. It wasn't mine. I thought about it. It was really strange. It was like in the back of my head. So it wasn't actually something that I was like, oh, I'll get up in the middle of the night and eat some more. It wasn't like that. But it was there. And then I think a couple days later, there was some left at dinner, and my husband had a piece, and I had 2 or 3 bites of his. And it just triggered this whole thing that was floating around in the back of my head, you guys, where I was thinking about, this is so funny that I'm talking about this, because this is like, you know, I had to actually bring all this forward when I was making my video previously and acknowledge it. And this was a big realization for me, that I was thinking about ways that I could go and justify buying another one of those pies. And you know, all week, like anyone would talk about, I think the name of the restaurant was the Donut Hole or something like that, in Destin, Florida. They have amazing pie. Thank God we didn't go there. But, you know, it's like the M&Ms. I think I told you all a few months ago, I had bought that huge bag of M&Ms, and every few days, I knew they're like sitting in the back of my head, this bag of M&Ms. And I know they're there, and as long as I know they're there, I know they're accessible. Even when my husband hid them from me, I was like, oh, if I want them, I can get them. And I worked my way through quite a significant amount of the big bag of M&Ms. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the same thing. So, I don't know what that is. You know, I used to really think it was a lack of self-control, and now I'm like, there is something wrong that I would eat, that it would be so sweet that I could eat that. Birthday cake is another thing. I never, ever, ever have birthday cake. It is my favorite, most favoriteest thing ever, because, and I hope that this video is not pushing you all to run to the supermarket and, you know, be out of control. But maybe you can identify with me. But birthday cake, if I start with one piece, you had better believe it is there with me, calling to me. And it wants me to eat it. We're tight like that. So those are sort of my thoughts on the 5 things that I don't eat on Weight Watchers. And then also, oh my goodness, there was one other one. I think I had 6. The other one was Cheez-Its. You guys know I've talked about Cheez-Its before. I cannot eat Cheez-Its, and now I have added to that list Poppables. Poppables? Poppables. Not Poppets. Poppables. Poppables and Cheez-Its are friends, and they are not allowed in my home. And so there you go. There's my extensive list and my whys. Maybe you guys can identify with some of this and kind of get where I'm coming from. I am really working on refining my diet And I really appreciate your input. You guys give me a lot of feedback and input. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please check out all of the links down below. I know I'm late. I want to apologize to those channels that I'm late today posting my video. Please forgive me. I've been so good about not collabing because I didn't have time, and then I guess I just didn't realize I would be on vacation and have a scrunched amount of time to film. Normally I try to allow myself time so that if there's a problem I can just, you know, refilm and re-upload. So my bad. Hopefully this will rectify the situation. Thanks everybody for watching. Again, my name's Amy, for N is for Nurse. Amy, hi. For N is for Nurse. Like and subscribe if you would like to. But if you don't want to, that's fine. Go check out the other Weight Watcher people. Links down below. They're awesome. There's some awesome content out there. And if you don't like me, you're sure to find someone that you do like that will inspire you and give you great ideas and help you along your adventure. So I will see you all later.